Our officials, Joe DeRosa, Kelly Self, and Antonio Petty, and we are underway. TCU 9-1 and a perfect 7-0 at home. Fisher, number 0 from the point. One thing unique about both of these teams, Stephen, is both teams have 2 point guards in the starting lineup.
You're absolutely right. TCU has a little edge in that regard, though, because their point guards are bigger and more physical than the Texas Southern guards.
Robinson, one of those point guards, missing the shot. And this is Jefferson, only his 4th game. Missed the first 8 games because he was a partial qualifier. Dynamic at 5'7", averaging 19 points per game. Feeds inside Griffin, knocked away to the floor it goes. And on the held ball, $1 million to renovate this arena and the Big 12 affiliation.
You know, Bob, you couldn't have got a better coaching hire for TCU. The highest win percentage in the Big East, and you think of all the greats that played there, Boeheim, John Thompson, great for TCU.
The early basket by Griffin. Texas Southern coming off a heartbreaking 88-80 loss last night at LSU, and the J.D. Miller is good. For Miller, only his 6th three-pointer of the season. The steal, and here's a 3-on-1 break for the Horned Frogs, and the finish.
A careless play by Texas Southern that led to a run out, an easy scoring opportunity for TCU. You're seeing a little casual play by Texas Southern, and you're wondering if the back-to-back that they played against LSU has anything to do with that.
Jefferson with the missed rebound, Miller, and here's Fisher in transition with the pull-up 3.
The one loss this year for TCU was against SMU, and they slowed it down. They need to make this a half-court game.
A remarkable schedule for Texas Southern, who is playing its first 16 games of the season on the road. Griffin with the miss. Rebound is pulled down by number 10, Vlad Brodzianski.
A lot of short shots for Texas Southern, and that has to be those legs from that back-to-back that they played against LSU last night.
Delani Robinson down low, Griffin. Texas Southern lost its opener, then won 4 in a row, and they've lost their last 6. They had a 5-point lead with 10 minutes to go the other night in Baton Rouge, or last night. 3. TCU a tremendous scoring balance. 4 starters averaging double figures, and they've nailed their first 3 three-pointers tonight. On the drive, Lofton no good. Rebound was for the Indiana Hoosiers, and Davis guided Indiana into the NCAA championship game back in 2002. And Stephen, both teams will play almost exclusively man tonight.
Yeah, that's the trademark for Mike Davis and Jamie Dixon. Right now you're seeing TCU, nice fluidity to their offensive game.
Kenrich Williams can't get it to go, but an offensive rebound by Miller.
That's one of the things that both of these teams do extremely well. They both offensive rebound well, but neither of them protect the defensive board very well either.
Brodzianski with that unusual shooting to the NCAA tournament one time in the NIT on 3 occasions.
Well, he's one of the few coaches that has won a conference title for 3 different teams, so that's quite a feat for Mike Davis.
Jefferson guarded by Fisher in that matchup of freshman point guards. Delani Robinson shooting over Alex Robinson. Rebound inside, no good by Jones. Another putback attempt by Griffin. And here come the Horned Frogs.
Seeing a lot of short shots by Texas Southern. Legs aren't what they're used to. That second game from back-to-back.
Alex Robinson no good, but the rebound by Miller. And finally pulled down by Marvin Jones. TCU has had a 7-day layoff for final. Make that Jefferson. TCU's only loss was to SMU. They had won their first 8. Made the short trek to the SMU campus in Dallas. Miller for 3, and the one-handed rebound by Griffin.
And Bob, I was at that game, and SMU did a great job of clogging the lanes and slowing it down. They made it difficult for Fisher and Williams to get to the rim, and kind of made the game a half-court game.
It's the 3rd time in its history TCU won its first 8. Shot clock inside 10. Griffin goes baseline, got bumped, no whistle. Shot clock down to 4 on the drive.
#1 seeds at Pitt. Just did a tremendous job there, and they're hoping that he can replicate that for TCU.
He was the Naismith National Coach of the Year in 2009 at Pitt when his Panthers came within an eyelash at the Final Four. Nice step-through move by Kavar Shepard, who has checked in for the Horned Frogs.
Texas Southern needs to amp up their energy right now. You can tell that they're trying to get some energy and get something to get them excited in this basketball game.
Lofton. Stephen Bennett sets the high screen. Shot clock inside 10. Lofton with the left.
Does a pick and roll. TCU's doing a hard hedge. Lofton did a good job of playing through and that and getting to the rim. Poor weak side defense by TCU.
Jalen Fisher off the high screen. On the switch, guarded by Lofton. Shepard jumper no good. Last touch in the 10-team Big 12. They went 2-16 in conference play. Did pick up a win in the conference tournament over Texas Tech before losing in the quarterfinals to West Virginia.
Bob, I would expect Coach Mike Davis to be a lot more liberal with his substitution patterns in this first half because of the fact that they played LSU last night.
Fisher for 3. Offensive rebound is pulled down by Brandon Parrish.
Right now, TCU getting those 50-50 balls, just wanting it more.
On the drive, Robinson lost his footing, didn't get the call. And here's a transition opportunity for the Tigers. Jefferson, long 3. Rebound pulled down inside by Shepard.
Coach Davis talked about Jefferson a lot and mentioned a lot of his missed shots are because of the fact to his team.
Fisher coming off a 13-point effort against Wofford 8 days ago.
Right now the TCU guards are able to get into that painted area way too easily. Texas Southern needs to amp up their defense.
Jefferson, rebound pulled down by Alex Robinson.
Texas Southern's not getting a lot of stuff through their offense right. Second consecutive play where TCU's gotten to the rim unhindered, able to lay it up way too easily.
9-point Horned Frogs lead. Inside and missing the easy shot inside was Kevin Scott. Fisher on the drive.
Truly a special player.
Unselfish, penetrates well, and he gets.
Freshman leading the team in scoring, second in assist. And yeah, he's a gritty player, toughest guy on the team, did well in the Under Armour camps, and this team goes as Jalen Fisher does.
Are stuck on 8.
Bob, when you talk about turnovers, TCU has been good this year with turnover, but they've had a couple games like at Louisville when they had 19. You're not going to be able to win here at TCU turning the ball over like that.
Number 3, Malik Trent has checked in for TCU. Brandon Parrish for 3. And the rebound.
A lot of balls, and they're just quicker to basketball and scoring opportunities than Texas Southern.
Whose schedules couldn't be more disparate. We mentioned that Texas Southern opening with 16 straight road games. Well, only one of TCU's first.
Mike Davis, and he talks about natural-born people. There aren't natural-born, but he makes things look so easy that you think he's just born with that gift.
Foul was on Chris Washburn. First foul of the night on the Horned Frogs. They lead it by 11. The 3 is no good by Jalon McLeod. Shooting has been a big problem this season for Texas Southern. They're 330th in the country.
The athleticism of Griffin just getting up there and blocking that shot into the rafters.
11th block shot of the season for him, 5th best in the SWAC. Parrish, good help defense, and McLeod stepped into the passing.
Get easy scoring opportunities, take some pressure off of their offense.
It's the first field goal in more than 3.5 minutes for Texas Southern.
Great ball movement by TCU.
Fisher penetrates the runner. And
you got guys for Texas Southern that go after block shots, but you got to have that weak side defender to come over and help going to have that second chance scoring opportunity.
TCU offensive rebounds 6-2 in their favor over Texas Southern. Fisher goes behind the back at midcourt, somehow maintains possession, and then gives it to Washburn. Rebound pulled down by McLeod. His judgment as a freshman.
I think it's good. That's one of the hardest things, particularly for freshman point guards, is to get to that speed of the game, and he's come in here.
For TCU, missed most of the preseason with an injury. Lofton with the step back. Not a whole lot of motion to that half-court offense for the Tigers.
You're right. He had two players on him, and that's when you got to swing the ball, get somebody an easy look. Texas Southern.
Jamie Dixon told us Brodzianski can score around the rim, block shots, and rebound. It's a 10-2 Horned Frogs run. And by Delani Robinson.
That was a defensive breakdown by TCU. Defensive transition. Robinson wide open, just stepped into it, knocked it down. A good offensive look for Texas Southern.
This is 25, Alex Robinson for the Horned Frogs. Low block, Brodzianski. He's double team, went over the left shoulder.
Either shoulder. He gets down low like that on the block. Unless you double team him, he's going to score.
TCU by a dozen. Looking to go 10-1. Have one non-conference game left before beginning the Big 12 schedule with a tough one against third-ranked Kansas. On the drive, McLeod switched hands.
Corner attacking the rim.
Kenrich Williams.
Coming down, nobody steps in front of him, knocks it down. Defending the three-point line is going to have to be improved by Texas Southern.
Texas Southern allowing their opponents to shoot 35.5% from three-point range this year. Brodzianski can't get this one to go. Rebound pulled down by Kevin Scott, who started 4 games, now comes off the bench. Brodzianski caught up and got a piece of that. Quickly the other way, Kenrich Williams gets the offensive rebound. Leads the country in offensive rebounds. Well,
His offensive rebounding percentage rate is in the top 20. Great rebounding matchup between these two.
Williams missed the first 2 games of the season with a lower leg injury.
You're seeing a little 2-2 press, 2-2-1 press by TCU, just trying to keep this game the way they want it, speeding it up a little bit, trying to get to more fast pace.
Left-handed feed by Delani Robinson.
And that's something that they need to do more. Get more plays off of their offense and not try to do as much one-on-one.
Fisher to Parrish, down low Kenrich Williams. Look at the ball movement. Parrish kick out Fisher. Nice. One more pass, and Robinson had the wide open look. Instead, he gives to Parrish, and the offensive rebound by Broad.
That play, ball touch sides 5 times. Defense is out of place. That allows you to hit the gaps and get an offensive scoring opportunity.
TCU controlling the offensive boards 8-2 to the Tigers. The jumper is no good by Delani Robinson. Rebound, Jalen Fisher. Leads for Kenrich Williams.
TCU's doing a great job of spotting these opportunities and knocking down those early transition points.
Yeah, well, Jamie told us we like to run. We think we are most effective when the pace is quick. McLeod back rims it. Long rebound comes to Griffin. His 5th. Griffin had a 26 rebound game earlier this season against Louisville. That was a week ago yesterday.
Ball's really too stagnant.
European Championship back in 2014. Out of the Canarias Basketball Academy of the Canary Islands off the coast of Spain. Horned Frogs have been in control throughout. Fisher with the shot clock down to 10 in the lane to Brodzianski, and only the 3rd turnover for TCU. TCU with 4 starters back from a team that went 12-21 a year ago. Jefferson lost his footing, goes to the floor.
Pass it, make it not stick. Try to get some easy scoring opportunities.
There you see Texas Southern shooting struggles tonight, 35%. It's been a season-long problem. They're 315th in the country in field goal shooting.
And you got to know, second game of a back-to-back, you got to put more.
Second foul on Scott and 5 on the team. Well, you figure they have to be a little bit down. They've lost 6 in a row, and the toughest loss by far was the one last night at LSU. It's a tie game in the final minute. They committed only 10 turnovers in that game.
Yeah, they played exceptional. They should have really won that game, had a tough call down the stretch, but they were in it.
Miller with the miss brought will lead because that's his 3rd foul and 6 on the team. Off the inbound, Kendrick Williams. And Alex Robinson will reset the offense. Robinson is 2nd in the Big 12 in assists. Kendrick Williams for
job attacking the rim. Both Robinson and Fisher create well for their teammates.
This is the biggest the first 8 games as a part.
Don't play his way out of it. It's kind of not only is he trying to shoot his way back into shape, he's also trying to learn other players, get some chemistry. So he feels like another week or two he'll be the DeMontre that they feel he can be, but a little bit of a struggle right now.
Only 29% shooter.
Top 100 guy, highest recruited player ever to sign for TCU, but he has such a poise and pace to his game, and the team really responds well to his leadership.
Lofton drives, count it, make his debut tomorrow night against Tennessee State.
That's a good question, and one that not only college basketball fans are waiting for, but also a lot of NBA scouts.
Knee surgery, an arthroscopic procedure that was done in October. He's had a torn ACL in both knees. Highly regarded freshman, just came back a couple of games ago. So Mike Krzyzewski's gang has been able to, hold together. It's not like the cupboard was empty, but without those 3 freshmen, Bolden being the 3rd one because of injuries. And nevertheless, Duke has only been dinged once with the loss to Kansas. Louisville. The turnovers,
you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
Facially, Jefferson looks like in about 8th or 9th grade, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. But he doesn't play like
that. Was a man's play as Miller was looking for the foul.
Up, he does things effortlessly, and it looks so easy. You can really see his athleticism.
Do you think he should get more touches?
It just depends. He's not a guy that's going to create his own shot. So when he gets the ball, you kind of have to create something for him. And the way Texas Southern is playing right now, they're not really doing that.
For Williams, it's the 6th time this year he's been in double figures.
9 points off 16 made field goals for TCU, doing a great job of sharing the basketball.
Lofton.
TCU switching it up in a 2-3 zone.
Jefferson deep 3. And a long rebound is pulled down by who else? Griffin. He's already got 6.
And you see the way Texas Southern is not shooting the ball well, so smart move, getting in that zone.
Lofton with the mid.
All offensive rebounds. He's going to get himself in position.
Even last year as a freshman was the SWAC Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Newcomer of the Year. This year as a sophomore, he's the preseason selection for both the Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year awards.
He was taking away all the awards like Beyonce.
That's his own style. The drive by Robin, the certification process.
Bennett from Robert Morris, Martin from Minnesota. So that's the type of experience once they get in the SWAC conference play that should really help them.
Final minute of the half. Jefferson beats the press single-handedly.
Bob, after you get through a press, you got to attack quickly, try to score off of that. TCU doing a great job of really dictating the style and tempo in this first half.
Bennett on the low block, went up. Broadsy.
You look at SWAC teams,
he looks at the non-conference portion of his schedule in only one way. He says to get us ready for conference play. That's all we care about. We'd like to win some games in non-conference play, but the whole idea is to get us ready for the SWAC.
Yeah, because you understand as a league, you're only going to get one team into the tournament, and that's the one that wins the tournament at the end of the year, and that's what they talk about. That's what they're poised for, and that's what he really wants to get his team ready for.
Less than a 3-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Sets up Miller for the three, no good. Rebound Lofton with 5. Here's Jefferson with a chance for one more attempt, and Jefferson beats everyone down the floor. Give our kids a great experience. Life is competitive. We want to get them accustomed to challenges. Said, look, we know we're not going to draw very well in non-conference games at home, and frankly, we earn a lot of revenue when we play on the road, and it's Texas Southern as Fisher nails the three.
It's a bad start, Bob, but it's also reminiscent of the first half, and really, if they want to change their fortune in the second half, they're going to have to really amp up defensively for Texas Southern.
Jefferson with the miss, quickly the other way. Kendrick Williams dropping
at home, and when you're trying to win on the road, the first thing you have to have is effort and defensive intensity, and Texas Southern doesn't have any of that tonight.
Nice backdoor cut. Jefferson.
Vladimir just goes up off the rim. Easy call for the officials.
And a rare mishap for
not giving the opposition easy scoring opportunities.
TCU 4th in the 10-team Big 12 in turnover margin. Jefferson guarded by Alex Robinson. Gets a step on him, and the underneath move did everything but make the basket. Quickly the other way, it's Alex Robinson.
Basket for TCU, predicated, of course, by the assist.
TCU shooting 50% from the floor has opened up its biggest lead of the night. Lofton with the drive up and over Brodzianski. Rebound Alex Robinson.
There haven't been many offensive tries by Texas Southern that hasn't had a defensive player around there, which is one of the reasons why.
Got 8.
And that's something that Robinson does extremely well. And the only loss for TCU, they really clamped that down. They did not allow their guards to attack the painted area. But they're having an easy go at the painted area today against Texas Southern.
That loss was to SMU following an 8-0 start, the third 8-0 start in school history. Marvin Jones with the miss. Stephen, it's one and done at the offensive end for the Tigers.
Yeah, it really is. And careless turnovers, really that's one of the few turnovers by TCU in that regard, but not getting anything going easy for Texas Southern offensively.
Scott with the miss. And the rebound pulled down by J.D. Miller is 4th.
You know, they're getting the looks they want for Texas Southern, but again, second game of a back-to-back, and when you play that, you have to get more lift for your legs because you're going to come up short, which has happened for Texas Southern.
Checking in number 1, Desmond Bain, who averaged 30 points a game. And he was a senior in high school last year at Seton Catholic High School in Richmond, Indiana. Alex Robinson will run the show from the point with Fisher on the bench. Brodzianski spins one way and
initiate that contact.
Here at Pratt Community College, and 6 rebounds. The shooting has been a problem for Texas Southern all season. Nailing the three, Delani Robinson, a senior from the great Basketball Hall of Famer Bill Russell's high school, McClymonds High School in Oakland.
Only the second made 3 for Texas Southern today, and when you go on the road, you want to beat a Power 6 conference team. Three-point shot is one area that you need to do well in. He's at Texas A&M, and you know he's a guy that's been playing well since he's come over to TCU with Coach Jamie Dixon. Wearing the same numbers as Mom, who played at TCU, Darla.
NCAA team every year.
Yeah, he to a program that he loves, and
teams in the Big 12 in the top 25, 2 of them in the top 4, with Kansas number 3, Baylor number 4, West Virginia number 12, and congratulations to Bob Huggins, who picked up his 800th career win last.
When you look at even the others receiving votes, they have 7 potential teams that could be top 25 caliber. I believe this year you're going to have 6 teams from the Big 12 to be in the tournament, but that shows the competitiveness of the Big 12 as a basketball league.
Texas spent a couple of weeks in the top 25 earlier this season.
That's 8.
Who very early in the season, there are his number 1 seeds, Villanova, Kansas, Baylor, and Duke. You agree or disagree?
Right now, yeah, I agree. I think those are good choices. Yeah. I can guarantee you that's not going to be the number 1 seeds when we get to March.
Villanova, UCLA, and Baylor are all undefeated. Remember, UCLA, the only team to hand Kentucky a loss. On the drive, no good by McLeod. Rebound is pulled down by Shepard. 23-point TCU lead on the drive. Bain. He's got 6 off the bench. Long rebound, and here comes TCU again. 2-on-2. Behind the back, Robinson sets up Bain. Can't finish. Here's Trey Jefferson heading the other way. Play getting a little bit loosey-goosey here with 14 minutes remaining. Can happen in a 23-point game.
Yeah, and that's the most difficult thing for Coach Dixon, is to keep the intensity up for his Horned Frogs team and have them keep playing at that high rate.
Kenridge Williams blocking the shot by Scott.
And see, that, Bob, is where you see the biggest differences between TCU, is everything they get is offered an assist, where Texas Southern, one-on-one, very difficult shots.
Alex Robinson knocking down another 3. He's a 41% shooter from behind the arc. Has not played this season here in Schollmeyer Arena, but they have yet to play a game on the opponent's court. Next up will be Bradley right here in Fort Worth on Wednesday, and then the Big 12 opener against third-ranked Kansas. That will be coming up on December 30th.
Out TCU, Bob, is their assist rate. They assist on 64% of all made field goals. That's top 17 in the country. When you have a team like that, everything comes easy because you're sharing the basketball.
Mike Davis has a roster filled.
Yeah, he does, and he has some experience to balance that out with some graduate transfers, but you got to get some chemistry, and I think early on that's where you're seeing the lack of for Texas Southern, not playing as a cohesive unit.
Yeah, in our chat with Mike, what he said over and over again, we got to get on the same page, we got to get on the same page.
And that's honestly how Mike Davis uses his pre-conference, to get chemistry. Like you mentioned earlier, doesn't worry about wins. It's about getting better for SWAC conference play.
Jefferson turns the ball over at the other end. Fisher pull up 3, back rimmed it.
And that's the type of basketball that Coach Dixon implemented at Pitt. He's got it going here at TCU, and I love the way that they're playing early on in this season.
One thing he did at Pitt is Pitt was known under first Ben Howland, and then Jamie Dixon was an assistant under Ben, and then it continued under Jamie. They were known as a very physical team. The free throw line will go
to make baskets.
Washburn spent 1 season at UTEP before transferring to TCU.
Son of the former #1 draft pick out of NC State. Guy scores it from downtown, rebounds, blue-collar style player, but great balance for TCU. 4 players that average over 10 points and 6.
Fisher's a freshman, but this is Robinson's first year of the program as well.
Yeah,
so they're getting to know each other.
They play very well against with each other. Robinson leading the team in assists. Fisher leads them in scoring, but they both did that in the first half, but got fouled. Just having a little conversation about the game.
Foul was on Trey Jefferson. That's his first. And Bain.
I like him. You can see that he's got a little rust to his game, and he doesn't know yet where to get his shots. But he's going to be a good player for this team. Got to get acclimated, get some chemistry. Yet, when it comes to Texas Southern and the SWAC,
a whole lot of love lost between them.
Oh, yeah. At home, particularly in that rivalry, the level of intensity in the game, home means a lot.
Louisville has lost the last 3 meetings with Kentucky. Pass deflected
for conference play, and both teams are going to do that. But for TCU, it's a rotation game. He's trying to figure out his rotations, who's going to play with whom, trying to get a feel for the players and how he's going to play them once Big 12 comes.
He's got 9. Almost midway through the second half. TCU by 29. It was a 14-point lead at the half. The jumper by Malik Trent, no good. Rebound pulled down by Bynum. Lofton had it. First basket of the night by Jamie Rutherford. Miller up top to Bain. And
because of the fact that this is the second game of a back-to-back, something that not a lot of college teams do, and they just didn't have it from jump today versus TCU.
Jefferson deep 3, no good. And the defensive rebound is pulled down by Malik Trent. Trent took it from one end to the other but couldn't finish. Quickly the other way, it's Lofton. And as he went, a coaching change, but reports of another one that will tune into Sports Center tonight. Find out. Washburn with the
slot, using that body, create some space, got some angles, laid it in.
Jefferson with the spin move, but rejected at the rim by J.D. Miller.
No love in the lane. Last 2 possessions.
Freshman from Seguin High School in Arlington. TSU finished 10th a year ago. They're picked to finish 10th this year.
Well, I think they're going to be competitive. They were competitive last year when they were 10th in the league. But Big 12 is so difficult, so tough. One thing you have to do is you got to protect home court, which TCU is.
And in their first 4 years in the Big 12, they are 8-64 in league play.
Well, I see a big improvement this year at home, and they're going to get a lot more home wins. And so that's where you start making your mark in the Big 12.
Miller with the miss. A rebound on a hop is pulled down by McLeod as we approach the 8-minute mark. Texas Southern.
35 points. It's been really his fault that he hasn't implemented more plays for Lofton because, as he puts it, Lofton can really make buckets.
The backdoor cut, Mill. Throw line will State. 7 points this evening. Some soft 3/4 court pressure. And another turnover. Trent unable to handle the pass cleanly, and we go the other way. Lofton drives baseline, couldn't finish.
You're seeing the lack of legs on that second day of a back-to-back on Texas Southern, not able to get that little bit of lift to make some buckets.
Washburn went up with after the offensive rebound got stripped. Play really ragged the last couple of possessions. Third time this year he's scored in double figures. McLeod also in his first year in the Tigers program. Texas Southern has been in the NCAA tournament 6 times, including 2 years ago and 3 years ago. They have never won an NCAA tournament game in their history. And Washburn with 11, that's a season high for him. Also has 7 rebounds, which is a season high. Long rebound to Miller. And the pull-up.
Brought it down in transition, pulled up, looking like a point guard.
Jefferson with a hand in his face, didn't get anywhere near the rim. And the defensive board to Washburn.
On 64% of all made field goal they're going to have a good opportunity that you have to have in order to win games. And when you can do that at home, more likely than not, you're going to do that on the road. And those are things that you have to control to win on the road.
Those 13 points by Chris Washburn and 8 rebounds have come in only 8 minutes. Number 20, Dalton Dry, has checked into the lineup, and he's a legacy hire. His dad, Mike, played football at TCU. His granddad, F.A., coached the TCU football team. And Dalton has his sister, Alyssa, who plays for the third-ranked Baylor Lady Bears. I think there have been just a few competitive sporting events in the backyard and the driveway in that household.
Oh, yeah. Hey, no blood, no foul.
Jefferson. Mike Davis feels very confident once Jefferson gets his feet underneath him, gets a few more games under his belt playing with his teammates, it's going to make a big difference. On his team have started at least one game this year. Not uncommon when you have a first-year coach.
Yeah, trying to find that rotation. And also that's a message to the team that, look, at any given time you can't get comfortable because you're starting.
TCU average is 79. They already have 81 with 4.5 minutes left. McLeod on the drive. Rebound pulled down by Trent.
And, Bob, this is a game that you can just tell that.
Checking up the dry miss. Jefferson. He's got 11. He has scored in double figures in all 4 of his games in a Texas. A 35-point TCU lead. Jefferson.
This team for the game, every day, he's getting more and more comfortable. And like you mentioned, when you talk to Coach Mike Davis, he just is waiting for the light to turn on for Jefferson, because in high school he's one of the top point guards in the country, ESPN Top 100, so he's going to be a good player for Texas Southern.
How many freshmen in the country have used
early in the draft, and that's before Ball started going off, really knocking down the three and scoring well. So right now, Ball
for Texas Southern. Monk had
Williams wants to score a lot of points, but against North Carolina, that's not a cupcake. I mean, they're playing defense, a great defensive team. So Monk really showing his skill set in that game.
And you mentioned Lonzo Ball, his UCLA Bruins, the only team to beat Kentucky so far this year. So great matchup Wednesday night at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville. Rick Pitino's 10-1 Louisville Cardinals and John Calipari's 10-1 Kentucky Wildcats. The jumper by Michael Williams is no good. Inside the 3-minute mark. Doubleheader tomorrow night on ESPN2. Duke in the opener by Josh Parrish. That Duke team has only lost once this year to Kansas. And there is some speculation that coming off a long break for final exams, that there's a possibility we may get our first look at Harry Giles in that Duke game tomorrow night.
And I hope so. I want to see him play. And I think everyone's excited to see if everything that you've heard about him is actually true.
Associate head coach Jeff Capel said the other day that he is very close.
And really, Bob, this whole game has been easy for TCU.
Texas Southern looks like a team that looking forward to going home and sleeping a couple of nights in their own bed.
Gas.
But next up, they have to play the 4th-ranked team in the country, an undefeated Baylor team.
Well, with Manu playing extremely well, so they're going to have their hands full on that night.
The second chance points.
You're playing on the second game of a back-to-back like Texas Southern is. Sometimes you don't have that effort, particularly when you're a college kid that's not used to doing that.
Jefferson way out of control, lost his balance, tried to find a teammate wearing the same color jersey, and it didn't work. Inside, Satilli and selfishness. Satilli doesn't get a whole lot of chance to play, and he found an even more open shot in Washburn.
Well, Bob, just like selfishness is contagious, so is the fact that they just share the rock, and you're seeing that with TCU.
About a 3-second difference now between the game clock and the shot clock. TCU scored 98 points against Alabama State. That's its high for the season. Sitting on 96 here. Dry goes baseline and gets his pocket picked. And the other way against third-ranked Kansas. What a huge ball team will meet Georgia that day. And TCU will just run out the clock. So the Horned Frogs win it by a score of 96-59. They go to 10-1.